That's about all.
Sounds about right.
You did got shot.
That Michelle and I literally on a whim, we were like just scrolling and we're like, fuck it, we need something to watch. This looks ridiculous and stupid.
The initial question though was like, did you have to deal with like the professional wrestling kid? Is there a lot of overlap between homeschooled kids and professional wrestling?
Yes.
Like people who like professional wrestling or people who become professional wrestlers?
I really like where you're going with the question, but I'm not asking you if Macho Man Randy Savage was homeschooled. That's
a better question.
Well, just because you were homeschooled doesn't mean you're an authority on all homeschooled people, you know?
That's true.
Actually, Macho Man Randy Savage is like one of the pinnacle homeschool icons that a lot of people look up to. They're like, see, he made something out of himself. Why can't you?
Please tell me that's not true.
That's not true. I made that up.
Okay, thank God.
It's not true, but I'll be honest. He was convincing enough about it, and I know enough about homeschoolers that like I was like, was he homeschooled? Is that why everyone likes Macho Man Randy Savage in the homeschool community? That's weird.
No, it's just because everyone likes Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, that's kind of an everywhere thing.
Imagine thinking that Macho Man Randy Savage wasn't really cool. Couldn't be me.
Imagine thinking liking Macho Man Randy Savage was a homeschooled thing.
Hey, I don't know, man. A lot of things that I don't expect to be homeschooled turned out to be homeschool things.
Homeschool things are basically just Bible Man and VeggieTales, and then like really fucking up your kids.
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah,
not always, obviously.
No, I agree though. It does all add up.
But like, you know, public school fucks up kids too. Mm-hmm. But it like fucks them up in a way that like makes them, you know, tough.
As opposed to showing them all the Bible Man TV show and be like, yeah, this is Bible Man.
I don't know, man. That'll toughen anybody up.
Well,
pretty sure
doing that is forbidden by the Geneva Convention at this point.
Do you just compare Bible Man to horse girls?
From the homeschool community. And Bible Man, yeah.
Yeah.
Bible Man and his sidekick Horse Girl.
It sounds about right. Again.
What is Bible Man, by the way? I've never watched an episode of Bible Man.
He's take Batman, but remove all the angst of Batman.
Replace it with all the Jesus.
I was going to say, and put in all the self-righteousness of the Superman movies.
Okay.
And give him a lightsaber.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he had the lightsaber.
And purple and yellow. His armor is purple and he wears yellow spandex.
Okay.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
I feel like you know what we should do? We should watch Bible Man.
I'm down.
I want to watch Bible Man on
Dan,
I don't know,
do you remember when we did PAX and the one guy showed up with all the Bible Man DVDs?
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect anyone to watch these, but if we want to, we can.
I'm pretty sure it was Slurs. I think he did it because we were like, do it, you won't. And he's like, yeah, I have all of them.
I just didn't want to say his name. But
I mean, I don't care. Fuck it. Dox him. It's not his real name anyway.
Fair enough. But yeah, I don't know. There's so much more Bible Man than I was ever aware of because my family only had 3 Bible Man VHSs, maybe.
You know what I think everyone's forgotten about? 3-2-1 Penguins.
3-2-1 Penguins was so good. I thought that there were only 2 episodes of it, though. I did not realize there was a full series attached to it.
Yeah, dude. That was also, I feel like, a very big homeschooler thing.
It was. It definitely was.
I had never heard of this in my life.
So, yes, it definitely was a homeschooler thing. Was it also... there was a connection between 3-2-1 Penguins and VeggieTales. I don't remember what it was. Like the writer, one of the creators, something.
Because it's the same company.
3-2-1 Penguins is a sci-fi computer animated Christian children's television series initially launched on November 14, 2000 as a direct-to-video episode.
Yep.
Oh, it's by Big Idea, so it's by
That's why. So yeah,
it's the same. It was the same crew. I believe it got cut because of budget issues. Because only 6 episodes. What? 27 episodes? Wait, no.
Yeah, there were a lot of episodes because it got rebooted. I think
I have seen these penguins places before,
but they're not the same penguins as penguins from Madagascar.
I'm pretty sure I knew that.
I don't know. Listen. They could be the same thing. I'll be honest. They were essentially the same character tropes. Just one was sci-fi and Christian, and the other was whatever it was.
Okay, so they help out like the most basic homeschooled looking kids.
Yes, basically.
All right, so there's 27 episodes total, and that's insane to me.
Yeah, I saw I would say probably half of them.
We have a lot of homeschooled listeners. Am I offending our homeschooled audience?
Yeah, fuck them.
I don't know if
we agreed.
do. But I think we've also, we've come forward with, hey, homeschoolers are kind of nerds before.
Yeah,
And I think
don't
Dan
think
and I
it's-
can speak to that. So
Yeah, I mean,
wild.
listen, some of us are actively ashamed of their origins, and others are, aware of them.
Oh my gosh. I was only ever aware of the first 2 episodes of 321
That's
Penguins.
so rough. I'm gonna be honest with you. Those I remember those actually being really fun. I remember being more into those than I was into VeggieTales.
Wait. There actually might be a third one that I knew about, but I don't remember anything about it outside of like the music video.
Oh god, that's right.
I'm sorry, the what?
There was a music video attached to
That's
episode
right.
4, Space Surfing Superstar.
I'm so glad that our childhoods were different.
I
I
don't know,
can't
man.
blame you. Yeah, no, I knew episode 1, 2, and 4.
I remember pouring dirt on my head.
Oh, I did that. We did
And
that
then-
too.
Okay, good.
We did both. Listen, homeschoolers were nothing if not dirt pourers, okay?
I can agree with that.
Every homeschooler I've met is a dirt pourer. Their fathers were dirt pourers.
Their fathers' were dirt pourers.
They poured dirt for 3 generations.
I want to get away from this bit. This is
And then they
awful
watched
bit,
321 Penguins. All of them.
unfortunately.
So the initial question though was like, did you have to deal with like the professional wrestling kid in the homeschool
yeah.
community?
See, I know
Okay.
that we did, but I don't for the life of me know who it was because
You do
professional
know who
wrestling
it was,
is like,
actually.
Okay. Let me
You-
let me finish what I was going to say, and then I'm going to ask you who it was because I'm very interested.
Mhm.
Because professional wrestling is something that I've always wanted to know more about. Because I already know that I missed the heyday of pro wrestling, right? But like the concept of the classic pro wrestling like stories and all the crazy things that they did, it's fascinating to me, and I wish that I had been a part of it at the time. Every now and then, Dan Parker shares things on Facebook
Mhm.
that like he did like an entire video of like one of the iconic fights that had happened. Where who was it? Was it what's his name?
I don't know.
Sure. Sounds good to me.
You're the one telling the story, dude.
But yeah, he picked up a car in a forklift and then dropped it on its
That's
head.
amazing.
Is that allowed?
Apparently it was. I mean, the guy tried to hit him with a car first, so it was only fair.
That feels like some heel moves is what that feels like.
Yeah, it was a heel move, and then he double heeled him. Oh, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin did it.
Oh, of
He
course
picked
it
him up
was.
in the forklift after he almost got hit by the car and then crushed him. Classic things. I'm at this point in my life, I'm so angry that like I don't have enough knowledge about that just batshit insane storyline crafting that happened as just and then Stone Cold Steve Austin, he's gonna pick him up in this big forklift and dump the car and crush him. Why would he do that? Well, I mean, the other guy, he tried to hit him with a car. What? It was Triple H? No, wait, Triple H. I think it was
Better have been
Triple H.
Triple H.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Triple H. And like the whole thing is just like, what's happening? Why would they do that? Well, they got beef. Why do they have beef? And then you have like this entire season
Mhm.
of like planned beef, and it's so cool.
It's insane.
But like, I've already missed all the good times, and it's like bad now. So like, I'm not gonna try and get into it at this point.
Yeah, I can see that.
But Dan, who was the wrestling kid?
Well, one of them was less a pro wrestling kid and just was a wrestling kid in general.
Oh, there's a huge difference.
There is.
That's different.
And then there was the pro wrestling kid was redacted. Hold on, I'll just message you.
Yeah, no, that works. Because I knew the wrestling kids because I'm still in connection with a lot of the wrestling kids because go figure, the ones that didn't stay wrestling turned to mixed martial arts.
Mhm.
Oh, not the guy who I was thinking. He also,
really?
He's one of our sumo boys.
Yeah.
Back when we did beach sumo.
Yeah.
So
There-
my
there-
experience with the professional
There's a
wrestling kids
huge
was
overlap,
wholly
I feel
bad.
like, in.
Wait, did
What
I
was
hear
it?
that right? Your experience of pro wrestling is wholly bad, or pro
No,
wrestling
no.
kids?
I think whatever breed of pro wrestling kids exist in the homeschool community, they must be wildly different from the pro wrestling kids that exist within the public school community, because and that's why I thought there was no overlap. I thought they couldn't exist, because when I think of the pro wrestling kid, it is also like perfectly in line with the Family Guy kid.
Yes. I think it's a fair assumption.
Like the family, it's not even an assumption. Like just from who I've met. like they were all in my time in school, like also the Family Guy kid and like the um basic horror movie kid, like the Jason Voorhees is probably the toughest guy ever. And you're like, we're 8.
The same kind of guy who's like, yeah, but could he beat Goku? Except
no.
not that flavor of fighting thing.
Yeah, kind of. It'd be like, oh, like this is like almost as scary as Jason. And you're like, what are you talking about? What? We're
Mhm.
literally 11. Like the John Cena T-shirt every day. Different one obviously because they have a collection.
Yeah. You can't just have one.
And like the constant reference to like pro wrestlers, the constant talk about pro wrestlers, and like, I feel like that was a fairly common trope within public school that rivals that of like the horse girl trope, but without the public, I don't know, the public eye being focused on it.
No, I can see it because
I mean, like as a kid, I thought it was annoying, and as an adult, I'm sure if I were to meet someone who was like that, I would be like, this is annoying. But also, same thing I said earlier, we're 8.
Yeah.
Like 8-year-olds are weird. Like I don't know. There's dinosaur kids. You do whatever you want. You're 8.
Yeah.
So I don't have any hate for the pro wrestling kids. But as a child, I was like, "Is this all you talk about?"
yeah, our pro wrestling kids were not that level of pro wrestling kid. Much like many homeschool things, it was watered down heavily, and more, I don't know, sanitized and contained. I guess I don't really know.
Gotcha. That's why I was confused because I know like the public school pro wrestling kids was typically very crass, like very much like the life on the edge type, like making the dirty jokes, the sex jokes type of. And maybe that's just my experience, but there seemed to be a lot of overlap between
the guys who wear a lot of Thrasher.
Pre-Thrasher. We were too young for Thrasher at the time.
Fair enough. See, Thrasher is what I always associate with like that flavor of guy. But
like when they got older, it was definitely a lot of like Tap Out and Thrasher.
Man. Every now and then I see a Tap Out sticker on the back of a car and I'm like, why do you have that? Isn't it like at this point so not cool to still have that?
A relic from the old world.
Literally though.
Just out of curiosity. I wasn't sure what the homeschooled community was like with the pro wrestling kids.
Yeah, not as bad as public school apparently.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't like awful. There was only ever like a handful, and outside of like there being kind of like typically very like, I don't know, like again they're like young, very young, so I don't want to like make them out to be like evil people or anything, but a lot of them were very, very problematic, we'll say.
Yeah.
And I'm sure still are in their adult life because of the community we grew up in.
Are you trying to say that we used to live in a society?
Dan, I have some bad news for you.
No, don't say it.
We still live in a society.
Damn.
Noah?
No, you know what to do.
You gotta put the Miley Cyrus M&M on the screen.
First one of 2021.
I don't put images in the episodes anymore, but I will make a pop, just for the mood.
Not even Miley Cyrus M&M? Okay, it's there. With the sound having been made.
It's there in our hearts.
It lives in you. Damn, I can't believe Noah just gave up on putting images into episodes now.
I mean, it honestly, it's coming from a point of forced convenience because I started trying to do a new thing with the episodes so that they would like be glowing microphones, but those videos took 20 hours to render.
Why?
And I gotta be honest, I have no idea. I have no idea what I did wrong, but it took 20 hours to render. And I gotta be honest, as much as I love this podcast, it has no right to 20 hours of my computer. So yeah, that we now are a still image. We didn't even go back to the waveforms, but it also has lightened my workload in such a big way. So it's gonna stay.
Fair enough.
It is how it is.
Do it just be like that?
It do.
Ooh.
Now, I got a question for you guys. Is there, do you ever find like some element of media that you're really not versed on, but every few months, every year, something like that, something sparks this immense interest in that specific media, but not really even enough to go and look up stuff about it so that you can become more knowledgeable? Just like, man, I wish I knew more about that thing. Do you know that mood?
This is a very like Like the longer this went on, the less confident I was that I know that mood.
I hate media.
So for me, it's Silent Hill. I'm very, very interested in Silent Hill.
Okay.
Really would love to play the games, but I don't have a system to do it, and I just haven't gotten around to like getting an emulator or something to actually make it work on my computer. I enjoyed both of the movies, even though they were both actually really bad, and I just love every bit of media that I have ever consumed about Silent Hill. I enjoy it. I think the lore is very interesting. I think it's very cool. And for the life of me, I never take the time to look up any like some like no commentary playthrough of the game, some like lore video about like each game. I never actually take the time to go through anything and learn. I just sit here thinking, man, I wish I knew more about Silent Hill.
I feel like that way with Metal Gear Solid, because as someone who did not own a PlayStation until like 2016, 2017, I really missed the boat on that one.
Yeah.
But I also, every time I hear something about it, it just boggles my mind, because it'd be like, yeah, it's like when they killed the president twice, and you're like, twice? Yeah, this one guy killed the president twice. Yeah, he's fine though. Like he's still just walking around.
The guy or
like,
the president?
Like, the guy who killed the president 2 different times. And they'd be like, yeah, he did it with a sword. You're like, oh, a sword. Fair enough.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like that 100% is the exact vibe I'm talking about. Like that, like, I don't know, it's information that like, and especially Metal Gear, like that's a huge part of like a certain subsect of pop culture that I know absolutely nothing about. But like every now and then people talk about it as if it's common knowledge. But the games are not accessible enough to me for me to understand anything about them. And I'll just hear things and be like, huh.
Yeah. No, like, it is like that, because you're like, oh yeah, like, it's the game where you gotta, like, sneak around and avoid being seen by the guards. You're like, yeah, and then that one boss fight where you have to plug your controller into a different port or else you can't control your character, and you're like, what? You're like, yeah, and then there was the one time that like, the whale exploded, and there's also the giant machines that moo like cows, but don't worry, they're not actually as dangerous, and you're like, what?
Yeah, I can see that.
What is any of this? Yeah, it's, the lore is incredible, because, like, the gameplay, you just sneak around and try not to get seen by the guards. But the cutscenes, you get Cyborg Ninja. Love that for him.
It's so.
I'll be honest. I think Metal Gear Solid is so overblown, like upsettingly overblown. And I think that my hot spicy take is that people think that fucking what's his name is an absolute genius, when in actuality he just keeps throwing shit at the wall. Who are like, he planned it all from the start.
I don't like ever get that from Metal Gear fans. I've only ever experienced Metal Gear fans who are like, oh my god, this man needs to go to the hospital. Is he okay? Why did he do this?
Really? I get a lot of.
It's kind of like how I interact with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fans, where if they don't say that, I just immediately block them because I know they're not worth talking to.
Okay, fair enough. I can see that.
So like, if someone talks about Metal Gear and they're like, actually, like, and you're like, you know what? It's a video game, man. Stop.
You know what? That's probably the best thing you can do.
Same with like the, specifically the JoJo fans who are like, actually, it's probably the most well-written piece of media to ever come out of anywhere in the world. And the fact that it was written over the course of, and you're like, it's literally just a whole bunch of guys who are punching things. And it's fun, and I enjoy it, and there's a lot of value to that. Don't be weird.
No.
But I've not encountered the Metal Gear fans who are
unironic.
Huge brain. Yeah, I've only ever encountered the ones who are not necessarily ironic, but they're just like, yeah, this shit is insane, right?
Yeah, I've gotten one or two too many that are, this shit is insane, and also fucking Kojima, is that who it is? Is it Hideo Kojima?
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima is a creative genius who knows no bounds. And like, I don't know, man. His shit's just whack, man. It's just wild. It's wild. I will say, I do get
the aspect of that, like the creative genius aspect, because like it is so off the wall at times that I'm like, man, this guy is like, he's doing something.
That's true. That is very fair. And I think there is something to be said for that. I also think that I wish that, and I've said this before a couple of times, that a lot of his games feel like they should have just been movies and not necessarily video games.
Oh, yeah, pretty much every one of them, yeah.
Like, I would love to see him actually go and just make a movie or even a mini series or something, and be like, "No, this is what I'm doing now. I'm not making another game." Because I think I would be more willing to digest his stories in that medium. Because I think that
I don't know that I would though.
I think that in video game format, at least for me, it's just so much. Like, I don't enjoy his core gameplay loops well enough to care about like what I'm sure is probably maybe something under that crazy batshit surface that's usable.
Yeah, I just think that like the amount of like I don't know. I think there's a lot of merit to the non-traditional storytelling
Oh, yeah,
that he
absolutely.
puts forth, where it's like, hey, you're like, the classic evil dad. Kind of. Actually, they took all of his genetic information and disseminated it into two clones, one of them getting every single dominant gene, and one of them getting every single recessive gene, and the clones were raised by two different people. One of the clones got their arm cut off, and it got spliced on another person. So that clone's obviously, the cells took over the brain of the person whose arm it got put on top of, and that's how you get Revolver Ocelot. So, moving forward, and you're like,
Yeah,
"What's
exactly.
happening?
Exactly.
What is this?"
Exactly. Although, from what I hear, actually, the exception perhaps, from what I hear, Death Stranding, while it is also batshit off the wall, is the most like at a glance digest. Like, you can sit down and actually just play that and not have to have like 7 other games of backstory to like understand what the hell is going on.
Which is incredible. The fact that they're like, yeah, his most reasonable and digestible game was where Norman Reedus runs through the wasteland drinking Monster Energy drinks and fighting Die Hard Man.
While holding a fetus on his back.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Like, okay, I can see it.
On
Sounds
his chest,
digestible.
actually, not his back. But whatever. Yeah. No, it's...
Yeah.
Who knew that his most digestible game was a game about building massive bridges and zip lines?
So I think if you are, like, I personally don't consider him like a creative genius, but I think the people who do are the same people who will hear like non-traditional or atonal music and immediately be like, this is genius because it's not normal.
Mhm.
And while they're
can
still
back
like,
that. Yeah.
and it's fine to do.
Yeah.
But like I've met plenty of people who are like, this is the best song ever made, and they play it to you and it's just like a hammer hitting a wall, and they're like, it means a lot. And you're like,
It means so much.
probably.
It's so meta.
But have you heard Phil Collins?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I have like, I don't know, some like boomer takes on like all forms of avant-garde media. I'm like, yeah, it's goofy, right? And people are like, no, it's not goofy, it's my life. And I'm like, kind of goofy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think this goes back to one thing that I think Jackson and I endlessly agree on media is don't take media as seriously as you do, no matter
Phil
what.
Collins is to be taken serious.
That's fair. I'm sorry, except for Phil Collins.
Obviously, thank you. Did I tell you guys I watched Tarzan in Chinese the other day?
No.
No, you didn't.
So I was at my girlfriend's house and she was like, hey, I got all these movies, we should watch one. I was looking through them and I pulled out like Tarzan because like, oh, this one goes hard. And like the title is in Chinese and I was like, this is not the Tarzan I'm familiar with. And she's like, yeah, it's just like I think she got it when she was in Taiwan. She's like, yeah, it's just Tarzan, but in Chinese. And I was like, cool. I was like, does it have subtitles? And she's like, no. And I was like, well, I know what happens. We can watch it.
That's so good.
Tarzan's dad, the voice for Tarzan's dad in Chinese, utterly terrifying. The voice actor did not have to put that much sauce on it. Very much scared of the Chinese dub of Tarzan's dad. And let's see, what else is notable? Oh yeah, I was really disappointed because the soundtrack was redone too.
Really?
Which, like, is nice because it's a dub soundtrack. And they had like a different artist doing it, but I'm gonna be honest, he tried, but that man could not hold a candle to Phil.
That's honestly super fair. I remember that Phil did a ton of the like in a lot of languages. Phil still did
Just calling him Phil now.
Yeah, it's just Phil. my buddy Phil did a lot of the. Let me double check. I don't want to lie, but I think he did most of the lyrics in like 4 or 5 different languages.
Oh, that's cool.
I vaguely remember that he. Let's see.
I mean, he definitely did the music, because the music was the same. It's just the vocals were not him.
Okay, yeah. Collins recorded English, Italian, German, Spanish, and French versions of the soundtrack.
Oh, that's fun.
That's so dope.
Wow. How
That's
extra
so dope.
is that?
That's
Man,
so
I
much
was watching
work.
like the Italian version. I would have been blown away when it was still Phil Collins singing.
Right? That's so dope. I love that.
Does he
That's such a
actually-
neat idea.
Now, does he actually know the languages, or was that one of those situations where it was like, here's the phonetic way to sing properly, go to town?
Let's see.
Probably something in between. I mean, French and Italian are both Latin languages. They have a similar root. And then English is obviously a Germanic language, so the pronunciation from English to German is usually pretty easy to grasp. I don't know if he's quadrilingual though.
That's what I was thinking. Because like,
hold on.
I'd be willing to accept any one of those as a language that he speaks.
Yeah, no, I respect Phil, and I think that Phil can definitely, if he puts his heart to it, he can probably speak 4 languages. I just don't know if he's put his heart to it or not. That's the question.
Hold on, I'm putting in text for voice.
Yeah,
That's literally 100. That's 100% Phil. There's not even a question.
Well, I didn't doubt that he recorded it. The question was, does he speak Italian?
I from what I'm reading, it looks like he doesn't, but he knows just enough of it that he was able to pull it together along with some help.
Cool.
Like he knows enough of
he
the other
definitely did not
languages that
sing.
like it at least sounds okay-ish.
Yeah, he was not the singer in the Chinese version.
Unfortunate.
Which was kind of fun though, watching a movie that I've seen several times before in a foreign language.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I know some of these words. But yeah, that's my story. I watched Chinese Tarzan a couple weeks ago. I just forgot I had not mentioned it on the podcast until now.
It's a good choice. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, usually I would do anything in my power to not watch a Disney movie, but it's just so like off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't, it's not something I would have anticipated doing with my day as I woke up.
No, yeah, I can feel that. I don't think that there's ever been a single day where I'm like, I will wake up and watch Tarzan in a different language today.
Yeah.
But here we are. Yeah. Neat. My brother and I used to watch Shrek 2 in Spanish. But that was just for fun. Because we thought it was really funny listening to Donkey talk in Spanish.
Okay.
You know what? I can get behind that. That sounds like it would be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, because Eddie Murphy talks fast enough as it is. The only character whose voice didn't sound wrong was Puss in Boots.
Somehow that seems appropriate. Yeah.
Honestly, it might have. They probably could have still got Antonio Banderas to do it.
I don't think that they did. So it's not that his voice sounded the same; it's that it didn't sound wrong
because he already had a Spanish accent.
Yeah,
and so throwing it into a Spanish language movie.
Meanwhile, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like other cultures have different ideas of what like appropriate tone of voice for different things, like different characters are. Like how over here are like anime dubs and subs, for example, is something that I've been thinking of a lot recently. Which is like, if we do a villain voice over here, it's gonna be deep and dark and but in the original, it's usually more of a like a prideful sounding voice. It doesn't go nearly as low for a lot of different things. I don't know. I just found it really interesting, especially like in the in My Hero. You got Shigaraki, who speaks really raspy and nasty in the American dub, but he just kind of has a spooky-ish voice in the original. I don't know. It's just kind of neat, like what things tickle that specific mood for other cultures, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's all I
definitely feel that. I feel like I mean, I don't have a ton of association with anime, but I feel like there is definitely like specific villain style voices that people expect.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
I don't usually watch dubbed anime. Not because I think it's like vastly inferior or anything, but like I don't know. Typically, the sub comes out first anyway, and is usually like better quality because it's designed for it to be in the language. So like, there's never any problems with like the lip syncing or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the few animes I have watched, their subtitle versions because, it's exactly the same reason.
Everybody get him. He said animes.
I did back when I said the animes.
This guy.
You guys, what's going on? What are we doing here?
Recording a podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing too.
More or less, yeah. What did you think we were doing?
I thought we were just I thought we were just vibing,
I mean, no, we're recording.
We kind of seem to be, but in fact, we are recording.
Is that in fact the like whole purpose of the podcast is just be vibing?
I feel like we had like we were kind of like talking about something, and then Dan was like, "Guys."
I feel like we'd hit the end of that conversation. Like I feel like we kind of hit the hard stop on.
So then you were like, "What are we doing here?"
Listen, dude. Sometimes I just realize that I have no idea where a conversation should go next, or what I should say next, and I'm just like, what are we up to?
But then when you draw attention to it, it becomes like painfully obvious.
It was already obvious. Do you think Noah edits out silences? I don't think so, sir.
I do.
No. Yeah. Also, I will
No,
tell you right now that silence could not have been more than 3 seconds.
Well, yeah, but that's a whole
It's
3
true.
seconds of dead air.
Man, if you
And then
think
we
that's
filled it
the
with a
longest
minute
bit
of
of
this.
silence that we've ever had on here that I've cut out, I've got news for you.
What's the longest? How long can we stay silent before Noah just has to leave it in?
I mean,
You
what
never,
do
I
you
never have
mean?
to leave it in.
The longer you stay silent, the more likely he is to not leave it in. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Sorry, let me rephrase that. What's the longest we can be silent and have Noah still leave it in? Like about, I feel like
Probably-
about a second, maybe.
it depends. If it's a build up to a joke, I've let it go as long as 5 seconds. Like
Damn.
last week when you didn't understand that Jackson said coffee, am I right? I left that big gap where neither of us responded to you. I left that whole thing in. Because you
thought you
deserve to
said
have us not
cock.
respond to you.
Valid, hurtful, but
Why did you
valid.
think we said cock?
But then other times beyond that, I try not to leave more than 2 seconds of air between things on the outside. Depends on how loose an edit I'm doing.
Loosey goosey.
Um,
Oh yes, I'd like to file for a new co-host.
You can keep filing. Noah's had an application in there for months.
Damn.
I'm applying to be my own new co-host.
No, you're applying to get me fired.
Oh,
That's how it works,
why would you-
obviously.
Hey, let me tell
I
you
don't think
about
that's
this
how it
new
works.
movie that's coming out. Y'all hear about
What?
the Banana Splits movie?
No.
Oh god, I hate whatever this is about to be. Okay, go on.
Okay, so you know how like Five Nights at Freddy's is the perfect horror movie IP that just is not being utilized?
Yeah, so
No.
everyone's taking over it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Banana Splits movie did surprisingly well. And now here we have Nick Cage's new horror movie, Willy's Wonderland. And it's literally just it is even more just a Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff than Banana Splits was. Because Banana Splits was just about animatronics in general. This is about a man who has to stay overnight to clean this place. And what it actually turns out to be is he's being sacrificed to these animatronics.
Wild.
Sounds
Yeah,
like a rough Tuesday.
I don't know. Rob sent it to me a little while ago, and a little while ago, meaning like a couple days. And I'm really, really interested to. I'm interested to watch it. If we're being honest, it doesn't look like it's going to be like conventionally good, but it looks like it's going to be a really, really fun time. I don't know.
That is most Nick Cage movies, to be fair.
It is.
Speaking
Um,
of Nick Cage, sorry, go ahead. Finish this conversation. I have a segue when we're done here.
No, that was pretty much all I was going to say. Is I think that Nick Cage is the perfect guy to put into movies like this.
Oh yeah,
I'm enjoying the
100%.
fact that he's moving out of the mainstream and into these weird movies. Like good or
Mhm.
not, it's really enjoyable to see him do roles that
Stuff.
embrace him, like just kind of doing a line and going off the rails.
I'm
Mhm.
gonna be completely honest. I just now realized you weren't talking about Nick Cannon.
That's fair.
Oh, yep, nope.
Yeah,
nope, not talking about
definitely
Nick
Nick
Cannon at all.
Cage.
Does that?
What if it was though?
But what if it was?
I would be far less interested. However,
Really?
it would be different, and I still probably would watch it.
You're not a Nick Cannon head?
I would be far
really.
less interested and far more intrigued.
If I'm thinking of the right guy.
Nick Cannon, famous for Nick Cannon.
Famous for being himself.
Yeah, no, I don't know this guy. I don't think I'm a fan though.
I
I
mean, he's
mean,
not
he
really
did
famous.
get fired from Viacom CBS after anti-Semitic comments, so we are definitely not.
What?
A fan of
Wait,
Nick Cannon.
what?
Yeah, as of
The
July
guy from the
15th,
movie
20,
Drumline is
July
anti-Semitic.
15th, 2020, Nick Cannon has been fired from his
Wow,
long-running
like recently.
improv show Wild and Out after he made some anti-Semitic comments on his podcast and YouTube show Cannon's Class. So he got hella fired.
school is
so
no
fuck,
longer in
fuck
session.
this guy.
Oh,
What do you mean, oh?
no, I don't agree with him at all. But I
What?
I think he is a bad person, but also I have seen these lines of thought before, and it's super rough.
That wasn't a but also. That was an and also. The but also made you sound like you were going to disagree with it and be like, but actually, he's a bad
No, I'm
person, but is he
sorry.
really that bad? And it turned into, he's a bad person, but no, he really is pretty bad. And so that's why Jackson and I were both like, what is he doing here? What's going on?
Oh my gosh. He put out an apology, but only for the anti-Semitic remarks, not the other really hateful things that he said.
Wild.
Oh my gosh.
Wild. That's so rough. That's so
It is actually
rough.
insane, though. I mean, I haven't even thought about Nick Cannon in years. That's why it's so weird to me that, like, I was like, Nick Cannon, not Nick Cage, haha. And then you're like, yeah, that guy is anti-Semitic. And I was like, what?
What a wild thing to have just hit you in the face like that.
Well, I mean, it's not like I had any, like, special care for Nick Cannon or look up to him or anything. I remember watching Drumline when I was younger. That's about as far as it goes.
Fair enough.
I think he was in some other movies, too, but I couldn't tell you which ones. Sorry if you were expecting me to. All right, now I've got some loyalty.
Wow.
The Bill Murray Garfield?
Yeah.
And he voiced Garfield.
He did. Many people thought it was Bill Murray, but it was actually Nick Cannon.
Yeah, doing a Bill Murray impression, clearly.
Wild. Geez, I got nothing to follow that with.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, huh?
Even just reading the super
condensed version, it's not great.
Yeah, no. Yikes.
It's real bad.
Yikes.
It's real bad. Moving on from the person that we weren't talking about to the person we were talking about.
Can we
Nick
make
Cage.
Nick Cannon an enemy of the podcast?
What?
Or wait, what?
Can we make Nick Cannon an enemy of the podcast?
Oh, Nick Cannon can be in it. He even has his
Yeah.
own podcast. We canonically do not stand Nick Cannon fans. That's
Nice.
where we're at.
Nick Cannon would have a new enemy of the podcast.
You can't let the beef spill out on his fans.
No,
You can't say
Noah,
we don't stand his fans.
Noah, they're
No,
fans
no.
of someone spewing anti-Semitic rhetoric. We can say that we're not fans of it. No. This is my hard line.
Dan, don't you like Disney?
My point, my guy. Yes, that is bad. I don't think this is a super public knowledge thing. We can't blanket declare all people who like Nick Cannon to be enemies of the podcast. Only people who are anti-Semitic.
Yeah, we don't like anti-Semitic people.
No.
Or Suzuki Joe.
I've been outvoted. All right.
You were
Fine.
going to say something about Nick Cage.
I was. You guys, Nick Cage, did you guys, there's a new like 6-part miniseries on Netflix that Michelle and I literally on a whim, we were like just scrolling and we're like, fuck it, we need something to watch. This looks ridiculous and stupid. It's called The History of Swearing. It has
I've seen that, yeah.
And didn't realize Nick Cage was on it until like until he appears as like the main host of the show.
Oh yeah, like his face is on the preview on Netflix.
Exactly, but we didn't even watch it. We didn't get to the preview. We literally scrolled past and we're like, History of Swearing, that's gonna be stupid. Click it, and it's like, oh shit, it's Nick Cage. What the fuck is Nick Cage doing here?
Amazing.
Yeah, he's the face of it.
It was pretty good. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it wasn't amazing, but like for what 5-6 episodes, miniseries, whatever, it was pretty good. It was fun. The people that got involved in it were great. It's just they have like two linguists and like two other professors, and then everyone else commenting on it is a bunch of comedians. It was a good time. I don't know. It was totally acceptable for a kind of ridiculous premise for a show. That was it.
All right.
That was my whole thing. I was not even going to necessarily say go watch it unless you really like Nick Cage, which I do, so I did. But
that's not even why you watched it.
no, but it is why I stuck around. Like, I started watching because I'm like, he said fuck in episode 1. And then I was like, you know what? This is actually pretty good. And I enjoy seeing Nick Cage being Nick Cage on screen for any reason.
Wait. In a show called The History of Swearing, you
No,
were
don't do it to him.
surprised.
No, I was
No,
pleased.
don't do it to him.
I was pleased, not surprised. I was overjoyed. I like that they
They said the
started
F
out
word?
strong. They started out with fuck.
That's the one that people were thinking about. You know?
Well, yeah, of course. Like, what are you going to start with? Shit? I don't think so. That's like episode 3 or 4. You got to pace that shit.
I'm gonna be honest.
Ass?
I
Are
feel
you
like-
kidding me?
I feel like
Ass?
you build up.
That's not even a curse. Ass is barely even a swear word in today's society. I don't know. I kind of really hope that they end up doing like more with it, but there's also only so far you can go before it becomes like History of Slurs, because I feel like they even mentioned in like the last episode, like most things that we as a broad society of like, you know, under 40-year-olds consider to be like the worst swear words are all slurs. And so like you really don't necessarily need a show that talks about that. That's okay. So I don't know.
I don't really want to watch History of Slurs.
Exactly. I don't want to watch History of Slurs. I would watch History of Swears. I want them to go into like, I don't know, non-English swears. That's fun. I don't know. That was it. That was the whole thing. Is just you brought up Nick Cage, and I'm like, damn, Nick Cage also be out here making 6-part Netflix series. Is
Sounds right to me.
I need to find time to watch more things.
I feel that.
I disagree. I think you need to find less time to watch more things.
But I'm like, I'm not watching things that I'm legitimately very interested in checking out, because half of the time it's like, oh yeah, I'm waiting to watch it with Nina, which is fine. You know, that we make time for. But then there's other things where I'm like, I would just like to watch this, and then I just don't make that time. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel that. I have a lot of things that I very, very much would like to sit down and actually get time to watch. And I just, like, I feel like as somebody who, like, air quotes, is a creative person, even though I haven't been creating lately, it's important for me to, like, consume media when I can, because it helps fuel that, like, creative itch. And for some reason lately, I don't know when the last time I watched an actual movie was, like, that was new and, like, wasn't, like, just on a whim on Netflix. Like, when I went out and actually just, or went in, I guess now, I was like, I'm going to watch a movie that has come out in the last year.
Is everything okay, Dan? You haven't even touched your Chinese Tarzan.
Exactly. I just want to watch Chinese Tarzan. I want that to fuel my imagination.
I mean, you can. That's the good news.
I could, but see, like you said, Noah, you got to make the time, and it's hard to make the time.
I don't know. I've watched an awful lot of TV shows recently, but it's hard for me to work up the ambition to watch a movie.
There's a very different mood between the two. Like, I can sit down and watch an episode of a TV show with Michelle and be like, yeah, we watched an episode of TV over lunch, dinner, whatever. But yeah, no, it's a lot harder to sit down and watch a full ass movie. That's a commitment, whereas a TV show is not as much, it feels like.
Well, it's funny because I'll sit down and I'll watch like 5 episodes of Letterkenny.
Exactly, but
and
God
I
forbid,
won't sit down and watch one movie that Nina and I both want to watch.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically how it'd be. It's something weird about the commitment of watching a movie versus just watching a TV show. I don't know. I could not tell you what it is, but it's there, and it's very, very real. Unless it's like obviously, like in the past, Michelle and I would go to the movies like once every month or so, and that was a way that we could actually go and actually consume media that we cared about. But that at least that makes it an event, right? Like that's like its own special thing. And even if we sit down and we're like, we're gonna watch a movie and sit down and make popcorn and get a some soda and sit on the couch, it's distinctly not the same as going to a theater.
It's true. I honestly, before the pandemic, Noah and I went to the movies pretty often too. Actually,
I remember that before the dark times,
and I liked that a lot. It was nice knowing someone would go watch Underwater with me. I know Nina would, but like,
I wouldn't do it again.
You know.
To be fair, Noah, before the pandemic, could Nina have gone and watched Underwater with you? Didn't you guys?
She did. She was there. She watched Underwater with us. Let me
rephrase that. Didn't you guys? Am I misremembering the timeline? Didn't you guys move in not long at all before the pandemic? Or
she was here
transfer
for
her stuff?
She was here for 3 full months before the pandemic.
It was you transferred the rest of her stuff right as the pandemic started.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. That's why in my brain it was like, no, that's why. Okay, that's fair. I'm sorry for.
Yeah, we watched Birds of Prey with Jackson and Emma. We watched Underwater with Jackson and Rob. That was when I learned about Baltard, the biggest loser in the galaxy. I feel like we watched another, and we watched Fantasy Island. I think that was just the 3 of us. I don't think anyone else was there for that one.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been.
No.
Everyone else made the right call.
The thing is, like, we didn't watch good movies.
Yeah, we didn't, but like, I don't know. I'd go out and see all of them again right now, if we're being honest. I miss theaters. I really like the theater experience.
We don't have one anymore.
Is it like dead now? Like totally gone?
It's closed. Mm-hmm.
It's not coming back?
Nope. It's gone.
Well, shit. I guess I'm never going to see a movie again.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, the nearest one is in Meadville.
Yeah, Meadville?
No, when's the last time you went to Meadville?
What the fuck is that? Wait, there's a theater in Meadville?
Yeah, it's the movies at Meadville.
Huh.
And that's the only theater left.
Well, we could also go to Lakewood. There's
what the fuck is Lakewood?
It's in New York. It's near Jamestown.
The thing is, I don't mind driving 20 minutes to watch a bad movie. I'm not gonna drive like an hour and a half to watch a bad movie.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
That's the same reason that I won't go to Meadville or Lakewood to watch a movie. Also, they're more expensive than what do you call Cinemark? Like by a lot.
Yeah.
And their tickets aren't as nice. I like tickets because I like to keep them, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah. Keep that record of, hey, this is what I've done.
And tickets have just become worse and worse over the past few years. People
I
just
will agree. A lot of times they're just like, oh, digital order only, and then you don't even get a ticket. You get maybe a stub if you're lucky.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I only went to the movies rarely before all of it, but now it's one of the many things that like now that I can't do it, I'm like, man, it would be nice to just go see a movie sometime.
Yeah, I actually know, and I went fairly frequently. Not on the daily or anything, but you know.
Yeah, I think it'd be weird if you went every day. That would be a problem.
Yeah.
That's too many
Be a little
movies.
bit too many movies.
Too much
Even
Nello,
for
really.
Mr. Movies.
Mm. No,
You
it's
say
it's
rip
it's
to.
it's one of those
The
things.
theater. Okay.
It's movies and shows. I'm really missing a lot during like concerts and stuff. I'm really missing a lot right now.
Michelle and
'Cause
I
it's,
just
uh,
before
it's-
all the. Sorry, go ahead.
It's been like a full year at this point, and I don't know. I got all moody about it because the other night to find someone Nina thought she knew who it was, I ended up going through a bunch of old band photos, just
Aw.
like scrolling through like 4 different people's Facebooks trying to find this person, and I saw so many freaking shows that we did, and I'm like, man, I miss that. I miss it a lot.
I honestly don't like watching like series that were made in 2020 even.
Mm-hmm.
Like or not even 2020, but like during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Like any time I watch like a series that's like, I don't know, like the newer seasons of 90 Day Fiance, they're just like, yep, can't go outside, have to wear a mask. I'm like, well, this sucks, because half the fun of 90 Day Fiance is watching these shitty people go to garbage places in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And being unable to do that is, you know, no fun.
Yeah, it kind of kills the actual enjoyment of shows like that.
It does.
Oh, things are looking up in that department, though. You know, we've got one vaccine actively being distributed and a couple others that are looking promising. So,
Yeah, we're definitely making some progress.
So I do also need to know, I do have the Discovery Plus app now, and the service. So I've been discovering, if you will.
What if we won't?
I
I'll
will.
have to figure something out.
Okay.
Okay, no, all right. I've been watching things via Discovery Plus lately.
Interesting.
I will say the 90-day cinematic universe. Why are you laughing? I said 90-day cinematic universe, and you're laughing.
It's very funny. I just love 90 Days Cinematic Universe. It's just a funny word.
It really is. The best thing about it is the fact that they have like the 90-day journeys, which are incredibly valuable to me, because it's literally like, instead of watching an entire season with everyone, you just watch one couple's journey. So they basically, and they don't add any like extra content, which is also kind of nice because it means it's pretty short. So instead of watching like 16-hour, hour and a half long episodes for an entire season, only to like 3 of the couples, you can watch like the first couple episodes and get a feel for it, and then you can watch the individual couples' journeys. So like it instead of being like 10 minutes of this couple and then cutting to another and then cutting to another and then another, it's just one couple and all of their segments from the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice.
That does sound like a nice streamlined way to enjoy them. 90 Day Fiance stuff.
Say it.
I'm sorry. Who's
Say it.
the cinematic universe? I just saw that there's this like music producer and convicted murderer Phil Spector died at 81.
I saw that, and I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't know if it was like a thing we wanted.
I don't know who this is.
I have no idea who that is, but that's such a headline.
Phil Spector. Well, he is now.
Orchestral arrangements. So
Can
he
I
was
say that? Did he like just die?
composer.
Am I allowed to make that joke, or did he like literally die now?
Very, very, very recently, yes.
This article is from 20 minutes ago.
Okay, so I shouldn't say Phil Spector. Well, he is now.
I don't think he's a.
I don't think he's a good person, so I think you're probably
the
fine.
line is famed music producer and murderer. So
we can shit on him.
I think we're allowed to.
All right, viewers of the podcast, I'm sorry if you are a Phil Spector head, if you're a Phil head, but I had to say it.
Interesting.
That's all. I already said it. I'm not gonna say it again.
No, don't say it again.
you're good.
The man just died. I did say it twice already.
You did already do it.
Well, you know I had to do it to him.
So it looks like he tried to say that a guy killed themselves, but
Definitely killed him.
Who's Clarkson? Give me a first name.
Kelly?
Is she dead?
Best not be Kelly.
It was in 2003, so it was a while ago. He came running out of the house with a gun and blood on his hands and said, "I think I killed someone." And then he tried to say Clarkson shot herself.
Sorry.
Well, it sounds like it could be anybody. I don't know.
It's like you guys see the there was a lawyer recently who's like, yes, my client is photographed doing the exact thing that he's being accused of. And they're like, how do you think you're going to handle that? He's like, I don't know. I'm not a miracle worker. It's very
At least
good.
he's honest.
It's very, very good.
Lana Clarkson. Lana. I don't know. Lana.
Or at least Kelly's okay.
Yeah, Kelly's okay.
I was kind of freaking out there for a minute.
Wild. This guy's like involved in a lot of really recognizable things.
Huh. Like classical music.
No, he was huge in the 60s.
Speaking of which,
Weird.
I went to the Andy Warhol Museum the other day.
The Beatles?
Oh.
It was
how was
right
that?
around where I was at.
Yeah, how was the Andy Warhol Museum?
You know, it was fun. It was nice. I was a little bit skeptical at first, but the place was super, like, not dead, but like there was not a lot of people there, and it was all like really clean, so that was cool.
Nice.
And it, you know, I had a good time. Didn't meet the guy, but you know.
I mean, what are you going to do? He's probably busy.
I suppose that makes sense.
Yeah. I was hoping he would be there, but the staff told me he wasn't in today.
Yeah, what are you going to do, man? What are you going to do?
I guess it's just kind of like that sometimes.
Go back next week.
Yeah. You can go back next week.
Demand to see him.
Hope he's there that time.
That's all we can do.
Dude, sometimes that's what you got to do.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. I don't really know much about Andy Warhol at all, but seemed like a weird man.
Yeah, that's about all I know about him too. Is that he was just like really, really weird.
I can confidently say
not
that is
necessarily
exactly
always
all I
in
know.
a good way. I think there's a lot of like suspicious type stuff going on with him, so I don't necessarily trust like that. But he did some stuff that was neat.
Yeah,
that's about all.
That sounds about right.
He did got shot.
You guys, I hope that when I die, that's what they say about me. Dan, he was kind of a dick, but he did some stuff that was neat. Long pause. Got shot.
He did. A man got shot and you're laughing?
Yeah, I am.
I'm tired of pretending I'm not. Oh my gosh. That's a good time to end as any, if we're being honest.
No, let's get out of here. Oh, that's so good. Fucking hell.
Gosh. Well,
what's good?
You can follow the podcast at patreon.com.
I thought we weren't doing plugs this year.
We're doing podcast plugs.
Oh,
you always do the
okay.
podcast plugs.
Okay, cool. Guess we're doing that then. Whatever. Like, who even cares?
You apparently.
Patreon.com / off the air. Facebook at OTA podcast and Twitter at the off the air. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars and say something about us. We'd really appreciate it.
Or else.
Means a lot. Yeah, or else, in fact.
Is this a threat?
This is a threat. But in a happy way, not like in a threatening way. Know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Happy Threat was my nickname in high school.
Happy Threat sounds like a ska band that covers
really
Minor
does.
Threat songs.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you're
anyway,
absolutely not wrong.
Socials in the bio. Check us out. Have fun. And thanks for listening. Bye, everybody.
We appreciate you.
You specifically.
Yeah.
But just this once. Next week it's you.
Next week it'll be you. But for now, it's you.
I'm begging you, please end the episode.
All right, fine.